again. Thank you for everyone for listening. We are Healing Through Experiences, and I am Nicole Taylor. As I've said and before, this podcast is to help us heal through our experiences in every single aspect of our life. This came about through my own experiences that I continue to learn. And I've had to heal, and I'm still healing from some things, and some things are coming up that I need to heal. So I'm going through that process. I am bringing on the people that I know, who I admire, who I follow, who I take advice from, that have aided me in my own healing, who I may have helped in some type of way, but they have serious information in areas of our wellness, of our finance, our health, our minds, spiritually, everything you can imagine. I'm bringing it to the table. It's an unapologetic conversation with these people. And today I have the pleasure and honor to speak with a woman who is going to talk about cleaning up your mess. Stop doing what's not working. We all got mess. And I have watched her journey, and she is at a beautiful area in her life right now, and she is ready to blast through this world and share what she has learned. She's going to be a practitioner soon, a holistic practitioner, sort of board certified holistic. I'm so excited for her. I'm like, girl, whew, you the woman on that one. So without further ado, she is going to talk to us, talk about any services that she has available, because I already know I'm signing up for some things. Her name is Sequoyah Ase Taylor. Thank you, Sequoyah. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay. I'm a little nervous about the introduction. I mean, I got to live up to some stuff.
You already do. You already do. And if anybody's not following her, go to Sequoyah Ase Taylor. She'll tell you everything else. She got her kids involved. They got everything. Like, she is the female mogul to be watching right now, because she has strategically put her children in place. She's talked about how to claim your kids on your taxes as an employee. Yo, she got everybody working legally, we will say legally. She's doing a lot of great things, and she is working on self more than I have seen a lot of people do. So today we are going to talk about, what she said was assessing what's not working and changing it all up, but she's going to say it in a better way. So Sequoyah, let's get down to it. Thank you so much for your time once again. I want to hear from your words. What was your life like before today, and before your journey, before you was like, yeah, I got to cut out this crap. I need to fix this. Let me do this, and let me help others do it as well.
Jesus. Well, first of all, let me just give the spiel. My name is Sequoyah Ase Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of ASE Wellness. And what I do is that I help frustrated mompreneurs to heal themselves from hidden stresses so that they can be healthy, happy, and gain harmony. How we do that is that we distress the mess and we test and not guess. So my journey before this was mess. And that's why I put it in my introduction. That's why I'm wholeheartedly make sure that I say that. I lacked health. I wasn't happy. I lacked harmony. So those are the things that I'm becoming the person for someone else that I wish I had, basically. I am a mom, like I said, mompreneur of a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old who are complete polar opposites, but teach me on the daily that I know nothing. They rock my world every way, the shape, or form you can. They're entrepreneurs. They are their own speaks. They are mystics. They're everything under the sun, right? And so they challenge me to be better on a daily basis. And so my experience up until this point was to get to this point of the mess, right? Like she said, you stop the stuff that's not working. Stop the stuff that is not serving you well. It took me a long time to get to this point. I was raised in a household where it was believed that women should do certain things, and that as a woman, as a mom, be an entrepreneur. We had so many hats that I was. At that time, I was a wife. At that time, I was becoming a mother. I was an entrepreneur. I was trying to be somebody's friend. I was trying to be the best sister. I was trying to be the best daughter. All those hats and roles that we play. I did not know at that time that I was allowed to take that off. Some of those roles, I don't have to be present for. Some of those roles, I don't have to be like 100% giving it all the time, like every day. There's not enough hours in a day. And
Right.
so as I started traveling on this journey and starting to discover who I was, first of all, I was 294 pounds, the largest weight as I can see that I was on the scale. And in 2013, I did have the gastric sleeve because of some underlying like precursor health issues that had started. And that made me decide to say, okay, wait a minute. At that time I had a little one. And so I'm like, look, I can't like do this. I don't want to have this, my family has been diagnosed in, diseases and things that are prevalent. Everybody knows like the hypertension, diabetes, chronic heart, like these things are prevalent, especially in our community.
Yes.
And so that is a very high in my family. There are a lot of diagnoses of cancer even, right? And so even though my family is survivors, and why couldn't they, they're just surviving, why they couldn't thrive? And so that helped me to start making those decisions. And then a year later, come pop the next child that was really gonna turn me upside down, right? And yeah, that little one, that's the truth. So but just going on the journey and not only doing weight loss, but starting to do things, going through divorce, going through series of death now recently, and just having to learn. The number one thing that I've learned is that we have to distress the mess. And when I say mess, it is definitely an acronym. My meals, my exercise, stress management, and my sleep management. I feel
Say
like
it again. Say that again for me. Tell me the MESS acronym.
So your mess, when we distress the mess, and yes, even the distress has an acronym, but the mess is like your meals, your exercise, the way you move your body, sleep management, and stress management, right? And so I feel like during the day, your body, like most people think about a stressor as like always being fight or flight. I'm scared, a dog chasing me, so I'm gonna run. I'm gonna somebody screaming at me, I'm in an argument, so I'm stressed out. I have bills to pay, so I'm stressed out. It's those. Notice when I gave my introduction, I said I help women to heal themselves from hidden stressors, right? And so I feel like when you're waking hours, you're combating stress. That's the number one thing that you're doing. Whether it's a good or a bad stress, it's a stressor, right? And then at night you should be sleeping and regenerating from the day. So if you wanted to just put it into two big categories, it's stress and sleep. I should be sleeping to regenerate, and I should be fighting stress throughout the day, right? And so I think the concept of what most people don't realize is that your body is stressed, and that we are putting on a lot of stuff that is not necessary. Even eating, and that's why meals is one of them, is a stress on your body. It's one that you have to do because you have to put food in your body to be nourished, but it is a stressor, right? So if I have these general things that are stressing, every time my body is fighting something from a cold, or like right now, all the stuff that's going on in the world, like your body is automatically gonna work and fight against that. Those are natural internal stressors that you can't do anything about that should be happening. The external stressors, the ones usually you don't even pay attention to that are building each day, are the ones that are going to kill you. And so we have to stop with the concept of that we have to be everything to everyone every time. Like we cannot be all these different things at once. And you have to give yourself grace and mercy to do so. So yeah.
Agreed. And thank you. I love that. So it sounds like you're gonna be creating t-shirts that's talking about the stress, the mess, and have meals and the exercise and the sleep and the stress. Yeah, girl, I'm bringing it out for you. Yeah, because I'm like, I like that.
More work for me, guys. She creating more work for me.
I'm not creating more work, but it could be something that Autumn and Aria do for you. I don't know.
I mean, it would be the fashionista, I'm sure. She would love
Exactly. Her girls are absolutely amazing. I miss them immensely. I think a lot of what women, moms, bring on themselves, because we do bring a lot on ourselves, in some areas, and I'm going to say in some areas, it's to not pay attention to what's going on beneath the surface. And that's what I have seen you take hold of and conquer in a lot of ways. And I know for me, I had to learn how my body reacted to certain things. It wasn't until I had a knee injury where I, thank God, avoided surgery, where, I was like, okay, I'm going to be what? I can't go underwater. I like water. I'm going to Mexico. I'll call you when I get back. And literally, I was just like, no needles. No, I'm not doing that. Because I didn't know, but I researched, and I found out that I needed to change my diet. So I hold inflammation in my knees. and going through physical therapy, I noticed it if I ate certain things. So I had to cut these things out, and those sugars and all of that other stuff. And I had to pay attention. So I know if I'm having too much wine or alcohol, I might have a little flare up on the side of my knee. Or I know if I'm going, if I'm not giving myself, enough fruits and vegetables or even water, I can see that pop up. So it was paying attention to us internally, but below the surface. I mean, there's so many, we're onions, and we need to keep peeling those layers back to find out our root causes, which is why I wanted to talk to you, because I know you will be and do provide some services that get to our root cause, so we can stop stressing ourselves out and looking in a million different directions, throwing spaghetti against the wall and nothing is sticking. But because it's the same fad that's going on this season, or I'm going to try this, or I'm going to go do this. No, not realizing we are doing a stress. We're putting ourselves through more trauma than we need to. And I hear it, it makes me cringe. And I'm like, listen, especially women, don't do that. And there's information out there, not all good information. This is why I'm happy that I'm able to bring the correct information from a woman that has gone through this process. And now is in a place where she's like, okay, this is what I'm doing, that I've made myself a healthier lifestyle. I have more energy. I can do all these other things. I can be more present for my children. I can be present for family when needed and not taking on their own mess. So with that, I want to we're going to peel back the onion. We're going to peel back a layer of the onion. So when you're talking about testing to see what's going on, talk to me about how you do that.
So you bring up the word you used was root. I love that, the root cause, right? And so we call them clinical correlations. We call them underlying issues in the health world. And so the key thing is why I help people to distress the mess. That's the protocol of what we do.
Yep.
How we find out what the mess really is by testing, right? Because if you think about it, people say, well, that's expensive or this is expensive, but we spend, and women will do it because we're like, okay, look, as much as we won't take care of ourselves, but when something comes up like a keto diet or an Atkins diet or Weight Watchers or some teas, and not knocking this, because guess what? If it's done for the right person, it will work, right? So it's not a matter of this shake, lotion, potion, pill. I went through a phase that I was trying different diets. I was, keyword, trying, which I don't really like using that word in my vocabulary, but I was trying those diets. I had no clue if they were going to work, because me being consistent was the failure of some of them just not even being appropriate for my body. I had no clue. Those things were not even beneficial to me as a whole. And like you said, you had to do the research and stuff like that. So when we do a test, as for instance, the DNA in me, that's showing me you. Like your DNA, what you were born with from mama and daddy and X and Y and all those things come together and all those codes, and I can get science and geeky about that. But I get to be the detective to help you find that out, right? Because if you don't know that you were born with a mutation in your inflammation gene, so that when you get injured and have a knee injury, that's going to affect you from your birth, right? Mm-hmm. And then the stuff that you did, like you said, drinking wine and having some cake and have a little alcohol here, it increases that inflammation. If you don't know that, then you're already guessing. You're like, okay, let me just go ahead and have the surgery. When it could have been that you had a predisposition from your dad and from one of your parents, and you had no idea that from like it's actual inflammation gene that you can find out your inflammation response. Yeah. So when you find those out, you're more conscious to say, hey, I have to be mindful. Yeah, I could have 2 glasses of wine, but that third one probably going to send me over. And it makes you, it gives you knowledge. And to me, the knowledge is powerful, but of course, applying the knowledge, right? If I show you based off DNA or based off lab, so the DNA is what you were born with, and I attribute it to a wave, right? If we're in the ocean and you like the ocean is calm, that's what you were born with, right? And then environment, stress, not getting enough sleep, eating everything under the sun, not working out, right? All those things are called like your environment, your physical stuff, your job is stressing you out. So it'll create a wave to make it act up, right? What you were born with. And so when it acts up, that's what I can see. I can see those things too. So I can say, hey, you were born with this, but because of the things that you're doing in your mess, it's causing these things to act up or not act up. You may be doing good. You may not be doing good. So with the testing, we're able to actually show the person them so that they can see, hey, what changes do I need to make? And all of that goes back to being mindful. Mindfulness was the major change for me. Yes, people say, oh, that's meditation and that's getting into all that other stuff. Not the author judges that, but for me, the mindful was making me more present, because we're too busy chasing the future, running from the past.
And not staying in the present.
And I'm not staying present. I'm not staying present. I'm chasing this. I'm chasing a goal. I'm chasing a relationship. I'm chasing these kids. I'm chasing, a business. I'm chasing all these things because I'm running from something from the past. I don't want this to happen again, or that happened to me, or I experienced this, and all those things that you said you had to heal from experiences. So you're running from those things, chasing future things that you're never mindful of the present. So like you said, if you would have never been mindful, you probably would have had a knee surgery.
Yeah.
You were mindful to say, wait a minute, this is inflammation. So what is causing this inflammation? Let me take it. It could have been there. For you, it could have been dairy. For me, it could have been alcohol. For somebody else, it could be spinach. And you're like, wait a minute, spinach is healthy. Everybody has different reactions, right? And so being able to see what those things are, you're able to make life changes because you're being more mindful in your present. Wait a minute, I ate that and my stomach became upset. But when I ate this time, it didn't become upset. Why is that? You're able to be focused on you and being more present so that you can figure out what is going on with you as a whole. And that's just with like meals. That's just with like exercise. But for your stress management too, for your sleep management, you as a woman as a whole, being more mindful allows you to be more present and to be focused. And that was the major, like if somebody said, what was the major key for you? Was it eating healthy? No. The number one thing that helped me to become the person I'm becoming, as you said, conquering, still continuing journaling, was being more mindful. Mindfulness was the key. Being more present in where I am right now.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And all of those points that you just hit, it's like, yeah, I literally had to stop because I was like, dang, I don't want to go into this surgery, but it was like this, let me find out what's going on. I mean, I had a meniscus tear. I healed it with ice. Not everybody can do that depending on how far along, and maybe at some point I will need knee surgery. I don't know. But that day, maybe like 7 years ago, yeah, I was not doing it and I didn't have to do it. And I mean, my knee is better now than the other one is starting to act up now, but that's a whole other story. I'm like, I'm just going to blame it on after 40s. But no, it's more of me understanding, again, paying attention to how our bodies are structured, what muscles are important to support your knees, and are those muscles supported? I know that's my issue. So then the other area of consistency that I need to work on is the, working out, but it's finding the right resources that are not going to hurt you, that are going to be, this is the flavor of the month, like some of these, unless you're going to create a lifestyle of that diet. And some of those you really shouldn't, because it's, used for a particular part of time, not your entire life, but use those as tools to create a healthier lifestyle. No one is telling you can't have your wine, because if they tell me that, I'm going to lose it. No one is telling you can't have your sweets or, your Cheetos or whatever you're having, but everything in moderation, because once you have cleansed your system and you go back to those old ways of doing things, it changes, and your palate changes, your body changes. You're like, wait, where'd that pain come from? Why am I having this type of discomfort? It's because your body is talking to you. Our bodies talk to us and we don't listen. So I love the fact that you talk about, it's called what, DNA and me, whatever the test is. Okay.
Right.
I love that's part of her program that she provides. And that gives you that snapshot to know, and then, okay, now we can be targeted and strategic in how we tackle the rest of our life. But being present every day, or maybe I shouldn't have 2 or 3 Snickers, even if they're mini Snickers, maybe, because I saw this indicator on my report. Having those, I'm excited. I can't wait. I've done another DNA test. I can't wait for that to come back, but I want to see the whole picture. So I, at my growing age, can get ahead of some things that I might be coming up against and I'm not ready for, So I thank you for doing that. What are some other tips that you can share that we can distress this mess? Like, yeah, let's stop doing this mess.
So the main thing is, like I said, being more mindful, and then the point of giving yourself grace and mercy. Chasing, like, that needs to be another shirt too. I hear that's coming, so I'm gonna precede you. Chase the small wins. We hear that all the time, but really, do you really chase a small win? I was consistent today in this. I was being that all of that is a part of mindfulness, but I have to say that a little bit separately, because chasing the small win allows you to say, you know what, the top of the ladder is where I want to be at, but I took 12 steps to get there. On this part, it took me 17 steps. It took me 12 steps on this one. It took me 3 on this one, right? And so you're continuing on this journey and knowing that the ending of this marathon is you dead.
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
It doesn't end. It doesn't end. We have to keep going and keep evolving. So give yourself grace and mercy. Now, don't give yourself grace and mercy to never do it and to start stuff and don't finish it, right? But give yourself grace and mercy that even though you put a time stamp on something, that doesn't mean that that's a time stamp that the gods, the universe, and everything else intended for you to do, right? And so, and also, I believe in customized, individualized healthcare. I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, when I was a kid, I talk a lot and I was nosy. And now I get paid to talk a lot and be nosy. I'm the health detective to go into those things to help you find that out. And don't be afraid to seek resources where people can actually help you. Stop guessing. Like, if you want to distress the mess, you have to stop guessing. You have to know what it is. If you want, like on that test, it tells me if you're sensitive, have a salt sensitivity. It tells me that what type of exercise is going to be more rigorous for you. Like, should you be doing more endurance, or are you able to be a marathon sprinter? Right? So those things, it tells me based off DNA, and those things do that. So once I know your baseline, then I'm able to say, okay, now, or you could go into a program. We have group coaching programs that are for stress management and sleep management. Then we could go into a program where it's one-on-one. We do more lab testing that tells us more current stuff, like in the last 6 to 8 weeks, what has really been going on with you? I have people all the time say, Sequoyah, I'm sluggish and fatigued. I can't sleep is one of the main things, right? And so I can't sleep can be millions of things. For Nikki, it could be Nikki doesn't have a good actual sleep routine. For me, it could be I have high cortisol that is at night, and I have a gut bug that's keeping me up at night. Somebody else could be because they're eating sweet foods at night, right? So everybody is individual and different. We're 99% the same. That 1% will be the major difference and key that changes everything. Mm-hmm. So we have to be mindful that the stuff that's not working for you, stop it. This doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting a different result is insanity. And we continue to do, especially as women, we'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing the fat diet. We'll keep doing this. We'll keep doing this. It's like, oh, my best friend, she did it. My husband, he did it. The girl at my job, she did it. So that's the best thing for me. Not realizing that in your own uniqueness, that's acknowledging that is the first things that you can do to start helping you to just stress the mess. Like, stop it. If it's not working, then stop it. I tried keto and it does not work. Well, that's because it's not conducive to your body, right? Even going down to how you oxidize food. I'm a slow oxidizer. I'm a person who has a closed digestive. Nikki could be a fast oxidizer and have a fast oxidation. So she may be able to do keto because she can do it, and her body going to metabolize the meat proteins faster. I'm a slow oxidizer, and I'm a closed digestive. That means I can eat the same thing every day. So why would I go and tell everybody, hey, you should eat cucumbers and feta every day? And you're like, that's boring, right? So we just have to be mindful that everybody is going to be different. You have to meet people in where you are. And I even tell moms this, even with you as a parent, you have to be mindful of that. Everybody in your house is different then. Even though you created these little beings, they're only part of you. And you and that other person coming together made these new people, right? So they have their own mutations. They have their own things that their DNA did, right? And so just keep that in mind, that the stuff that's not working for you, to cut it out. Like, it's okay to say that this is not working. It is okay to say that I'm not sure or I don't know. And the whole point is to stop guessing. Stop guessing what the mess is. You can actually find out.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I'm so many things that are going through my head right now, especially when you're talking about moms, and a lot of moms need to stop a lot of different things. I had the pleasure of speaking to a mom, and this is going probably way off topic, maybe not. It's going to come back. But she doesn't give to herself enough. and she takes on everything. So when I'm listening to her, I'm like, so I understand you have your two kids, and then you're providing guardianship for your two nephews. And she's a divorced woman now. Do you get some time for yourself? And she has a teenager. And I told her, I said, listen, how about you tell the oldest one, watch the kids. Mommy's going to take 10 to 15 minutes. I said, I don't care if you go in the bathroom and sit on the floor. Get some alone time. Take a walk, do something so you can recharge and be able to go back in. You know what I mean? It's like, and she was like, yeah. I said, put it on your calendar. Make it a meeting for yourself. 10 minutes a day for 4 times a day. You've given yourself 40 minutes back.
Well,
and she was like, yeah, Nicole.
You being liberal, because I'm like, listen, that 10 to 15 minutes is for the birds. Like, if that's where you have to start, please start there.
If I told her an hour, she was not going to do that. So I listened to what she was going through, and I said, let's start there, because once you start seeing, hey, you'll make it a point to increase to 20, 30, maybe an hour, you will.
But you know what I had to start doing was, and the reason why I say the 10 to 15 minutes is like, it's still a way. Remember, I said being mindful. Because we're running from the past and we're chasing the future. So when someone says, oh, I'm just going to give myself 10 to 15 minutes, that's great. That's great. Like on a daily, you should give yourself 10 to 15 minutes, right? But that's what we have, what we call like self-care Sundays and date days and stuff like that. That when you give yourself a limited amount of time, that means that you're still limiting yourself that says, I'm not worthy for this, right? It's a subconscious conversation.
Right.
So you just have to be mindful of saying, so for me, the actual resolution was I date myself. I have date nights where I'll do stuffed peppers, or I'll have squash bowls, or, and I have my wine. I set the table up with my nice plates. I'll post pictures of them, my glass of wine. I'll go have a hot bath with my music. I'm listening to Coltrane, or the other day it was Anita Baker, and I'm listening to stuff and candles, and I date myself. So that means then after that, I'm like, oh, okay, for dessert, I'm going to have me some chocolate, a little Havarti cheese, and some wine. I'm having a movie night all by myself. Children are not allowed. They're not allowed to knock on the door. They're not allowed to ask me questions unless somebody is shot, bleeding, or like a bone is broken. You're not allowed to come talk to me. And that not only sets, and most people are like, well, why would you do that to your kids? It set boundaries because I make them do the same. Hey, take time out where you're just getting conversations with yourself and having fun with yourself and getting centered. So now everybody's saying, hey, I need me time. It's important to be about me. I cannot pour out stuff into my children, into my business, out into the community if I'm not full myself. On those dates, I have conversations with myself the same way, like if I'm having a conversation with a guy or for friends who go out to dinner, I'm asking myself those important questions. This is why I say 10 to 15 minutes. Like, that's great on a daily basis. But set a
start. I just needed her to start.
Yeah, she needs to start, but definitely the main thing is set up a date. I think the triggering part with that is that if she sets a date night up for herself, most people know, like when you get her going on a date, most women are like, oh, I gotta get cute.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta go take a bath. So that whole premise, right? So if you set in your mind like this is a date, right? The only thing is a date with myself, right? Even right now with the stuff going on, set it up at your house. Literally set up a date. Get dressed, go take a bath, get dressed up just like you're going on a date. Because it sends a trigger to yourself that you are important. You are being mindful in the moment about you, and have those conversations. Hey, what do you really like about yourself, or your last relationship, or these kids? What's really making you upset with these kids? Like, I'm upset today because they ain't clean up. Like, have that conversation, and it may sound crazy to some people, but when you start doing it, you're like, okay, I get it because now I've taken time out for myself. If I could get dressed up for someone else, I can get dressed up for me.
How about
that?
If
I can have my favorites, I can do it for myself. And so just that whole point of dating yourself, that is one of the major things that I tell people when we say like the stress and the mess, and we get the stress management, and you say like stop the stuff that's not working and changing things, is to date yourself. Even if you're married, like you can have a boy where you like still have time where you date yourself. You have to start being in tune with who you are, because if you don't, I cannot expect someone else to understand. I cannot expect my kids to understand the communication I'm relating. I cannot expect a spouse or a significant other. I can't family and friends. When I say no, I cannot expect them to understand why I'm saying no, or I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be present when I don't understand why I'm saying no. I don't even know me to know why that's too much of a weight or too much of a pressure, right?
Right.
And so the whole like spending the time with yourself, if you have to call it dating yourself, go ahead, say that. I'm gonna have a date night with myself and set it up. So like you said, put on your calendar, 8 o'clock on Friday, I'm gonna have dinner and a movie with myself. And nobody is allowed to disturb you. Like nobody. Like you said, if it's the oldest child, let them help take care of, give them some responsibility. That's a part of their problem today. They don't have responsibility. So give them that time or send them with someone else to be able to have that time for yourself. Because if you don't, that's a big part. I could give you the blueprint and tell you everything to do as far as eating, exercise, stress management, sleep management. If you do not start the process of changing your mindsets, being more mindful and being concerned about you, you won't make the change. It won't be a consistent change that is more permanent.
Yeah. And ask for help, moms. In particular, I know too many of you moms that don't ask for help. And so I thank you for all of that. Tell my audience how they can find you, follow you, contact you, whatever.
So the way that you can find me is Sequoyah Ase Taylor on Facebook. Is my personal page, Ase Wellness, ASE Wellness, on the actual fan page. And then we also have a group that you can find on that fan page as well. And then you can contact us. There's a button on there on the Ase Wellness page, like book an appointment with us. So we do have discovery calls to see if it's a good fit for us to work together. And you are able to we're able to talk about the things that where you are and what you need to find out. So the easiest way and probably the best way is to go to the Ase Wellness page, because then you can book from there, you can join our group from there, and you can contact us from there as well.
So go to Ase Wellness on Facebook and say, hi, I heard you, I liked you, I want to talk more. And she'll be back again, because like I told her before, when I'm listening and I'm talking, there's like 5 or other different things that come out of a conversation that we need to continue the conversation on. So Sequoyah will be back. I thank you so much for your time again. I thank you for all of those little nuggets. And everyone, I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know how you like it. And as I like to always say to people, good morning. Thank you.